Hey, what's up, Neil? Haven't seen you in a minute, I feel like. Hey, what's up, Dion? I hope you've been busy in a good way. Hey, what's up, John? Hey, Ash. What's going on, Dion? No, I'm good. Everything's good on my end. No complaints. I just got my bike back from the shop, and that's been good, man. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course you do. Yep, you're the one who told me about it. It's a good one. It definitely got the people talking, as always. Hang on 1 second, Neil. I'll let you in. Just gotta charge my other mouse real quick. Hey, Neil. What's going on, man? I'm doing pretty good. Pretty good. Nice, dude. That's good news. So yeah, is there anything on your mind regarding dating or anything? Yeah, I mean, dude, I think that's so healthy. What brought that about? Yeah, well, I mean, this is why I do support getting off social media because I feel like all the stuff you hear online, it really does obviously color how you see the world. But the more that I think you spend time offline and in the real world, you'll realize that a lot of the stuff you hear often is just amplified by anger more than anything. I have not found that women do not want to be approached. I've heard it obviously through like some videos, but the vast majority of women that I have asked, I think it's like 99.9% have said they want to be approached in public. And I don't think that's a coincidence. And again, I'm approaching these women in public. I'm approaching for these interviews. So for me, it's like the stuff that you hear online it can be amplified by rage more than anything else. Rage bait is very popular. I just saw a video. I think I saved it. I gotta check if I saved it, but I just saw a video of a woman who was like walking down the street, thrilled that a guy asked her out. And I hope to do, maybe I was gonna repost it or something, but she was like, I can't believe it. A guy asked me out. Are men doing this again? It's so exciting. So I feel like you're gonna obviously see both sides of this, which is why I think it just, at the end of the day, women are not a monolith. There's not all one way that they all feel at the same time.
Approach with intention and respect. Like that doesn't mean we just randomly approach like any woman we just see like for example, I still do. There's still occasions like I mean I'm able to kind of get out, socialize, like, especially with my guy friends and all, like when I'm going to metal shows and stuff. But like I still there's still times I still feel lost, like, you know like like how like just chatting up a woman I find pretty interesting. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you're watching those videos. Do you find them helpful?
I mean, in a way or another, but like, I mean, my therapist was like telling me like metal shows are like much different from bars and club, because bars and clubs people are like often focused on, just drinking. And like the metal shows, which I like to frequent a lot, people are there for a reason, meaning you all enjoy the same bands and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, I do think, instead of necessarily approaching somebody completely out of the blue, it's probably better to do it in a situation where you both are sharing an experience together. I think that's always
yeah,
going to be a better approach than anything else. Because I say in my book, there's no perfect way to approach women, but there are smart ways. And I do believe that there are ways that you can increase your chances of getting a
yeah.
yes and not getting a no pretty much right away.
I mean, like just talking to them like a normal human being, like is something I mean, this is. I mean, it's important for a lot of men too, like because a lot of men treat it like, this lady is hot. I mean, I gotta win this prize, right?
Exactly. I just saw Liz Plank. I don't know if you know who she is, but she just said, her advice, which I do tend to recommend, or I do also agree with. She said, do you don't just necessarily approach with like, I like the way you look. Approach with like general
Exactly.
conversation. Approach with like
Yeah.
just having a conversation with somebody, and that often is to me the best way, because then you're striking a conversation and like their guard is down, and they're just talking to you like a normal human.
Yeah. I think those environments do make sense, because that's where they're, people are, I mean there's a lot of people there, so
Exactly. Exactly. It's a
yeah.
safer environment. There's a whole number of reasons that are working for you.
Yeah. Also, like I said, I'm on the spectrum. Have you watched Love on the Spectrum at all, or like?
I've seen a couple episodes, but that's about it.
Oh yeah, because navigating dating can be hard for autistic people. Like
Yeah. I mean, what do you get out of that show? Does it feel like it gives you anything?
like just conversational skills. Like that is basically like the main thing. I see a lot of people have to work on, including myself sometimes. Yeah.
So, what have you learned from watching that show?
I mean, I've not really watched a lot of it as much, but like, I mean, I know my mom just like watched the entire thing, like. But I mean, with me when I'm like not focusing on school and stuff, I'm trying not to watch too much dating content and stuff. Like I end up making time to just play video games and stuff at home, like,
There's a book I recently recommended to one of my clients. Let me see if I can find it, because he's also on the spectrum. Give me a
oh,
second.
okay.
Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hang on. Bear with me.
Yeah, no worries.
Let me see if this is it. One second. I should have written it down. Okay, I think I found it. Hang on. It definitely seemed. I have not read it because I have not personally obviously dealt with this, but it's called The Unwritten Rules of Social Relationships. Let me put. I'm
The
gonna put it in the chat.
unwritten rule. Okay.
Yeah, and it was written by someone on the spectrum who is trying to give advice to people who want to understand social interactions a little better. Just from
Yeah.
what I glimpsed at it, it does seem like it could help, but again, it's hard for me because we see the world differently, but I want to make sure that any advice I give to people on the spectrum is specific to their needs.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so I mean, it makes sense, like, because if the writer of this book was on the spectrum, it's like it probably like they're probably sharing like their own like lived experience, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah, so they wrote it again to like help people on the spectrum kind of decode normal social interactions, and it seems very promising.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's at your library if you don't want to buy it. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, also, I don't know if you've seen this guy on Instagram. Like, I mean, I follow him. He's like also like not red pill too. He's called Coach Tim B. Do you know who that is? Or
No, I'm not familiar.
he basically has like all these videos where like where he talked about his own experience. Like he said like when he saw a girl he found attractive, like when he was like about my age, like he just would like constantly freeze up. He would just shit his pants and but yeah, I mean when he makes like all these cold approaching videos, like it's weird, like when you're wearing like these like those meta glasses or so, like because I also saw another video where there was a guy wearing meta glasses, like cold approaching every woman he sees, and then they all go like, "I have a boyfriend," and then he posts this on Instagram, and at the end of the video he says, "We are hopeless." Like that shit is fake, right?
It's fake, and it's also like if you're just volume spraying, yeah, you're gonna obviously. I've seen a guy go up to girls in a line, and ask them one by one, "Can I get your phone number?" and get rejected each time because it's like obviously you're just spamming. It's like spam messages. It's just not. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel real. So yeah, I thought about doing. Obviously I don't want to. The reason I don't do these kinds of cold approach videos is one, I'm married, but two, I also don't want to get a woman's hope up because, like, let's say she's excited to talk to me and then I never talk to her. She gets ghosted, and it just perpetuates the thing that a lot of people experience in dating. So that's why I haven't done it. I've been so tempted because I want to, like, show a different side of this. Ideally, what I would do is link up with somebody here and, like, who's single and help them do it and give them my glasses and have them record it, based on things I teach them. But yeah, it's tough out there with the cold approach stuff. I mean, there's a million ways and there's a million reasons why it can work and why it can't work. So it's so nuanced. I would have to watch somebody do it in person and understand what kind of vibe are they giving, because vibe is very important. From the meta perspective, all you're seeing is kind of the woman and the words coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, I mean, I think a lot of women because like when you're wearing those meta glasses, that like women a lot. I mean, anyone, like if you're wearing them, they still think they're being recorded because it's like because there's a camera literally. So
yeah, and yeah, for sure, there's a light. People are aware of these glasses now more than they ever have been, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, like I'm also like going to be starting a new job. I still am on dating apps right now. I mean, I'm just treating them as like a backup, not as like the main focus. I'm going to be starting a new job as a substitute teacher for a school district.
Nice, man.
And I've seen how a lot of women on dating apps have said their profession is like being a teacher and stuff. Like, yeah.
Well, the data that I looked at says about 72% of teachers are married, so women seem to like teachers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you want to do long term?
Well, I mean, it's something it's something I just like, been interested for a while, but like, But like I'm going back to graduate school this fall, but it's just for a temporary thing right now. So
Nice, man. You got a lot going for you, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I'm excited for you.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, homie. I got to get to some other callers, man. But thanks for checking in.
Yep, no problem.
All right, talk to you soon, Neil.
Talk to you soon.
Hey, what's up, Gamer Saloon?
Hey, what's up?
What's on your mind?
Just finishing chewing peanuts. A second. Um, all right, sorry about that.
No, you're good.
So the topic was pretty cool. You guys were talking about cold approaching.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that there are choosing signals that women give out whenever they want to be approached. It could be eye contact. It could be even a flip of a hair, maybe. Some women make it obvious. It just depends. You have to kind of like read her facial expression. Like whenever you guys
I
make.
do think there are green lights, there are yellow lights. I talk about those in my book. But you
Mhm.
can also sometimes women can be nervous and maybe they even want you to approach, but they don't know how to give that signal. So I give men the advice. Obviously, green lights go, yellow lights be cautious. But sometimes you might not get a signal, and I think if you still approach with respect and you take rejection well, you could still get. I've gotten women who didn't give me any sign to talk to me, so it's possible. But yes, you're absolutely right. Signals are definitely more of a they grease the wheels a bit to make it easier.
Yeah, exactly. A power message. Now, you say to approach anyway, even though that there are no signals, no eye contact, nothing.
Yeah, I think if you're a confident guy and you, especially if you have experience approaching, yeah, sometimes you can like, I've turned girls who, didn't give me anything, but I stood near them. I made a slight conversation. I just started doing something very nonchalant, and often it still got them to talk to me. You kind of like basically a lot of women have their guard up, and if you can feel like a safe option to talk to, it's just a safe person to be around. That guard I've seen come down.
Interesting.
It's
Yeah, fair enough.
possible. Again, I only recommend that for people who are like really experienced with it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you're not always going to get a signal. And if you're waiting for signals, because some women don't know how to give them, you might not, you might miss every opportunity possible.
How did you cold approach the woman who did not give you choosing signals? What did you tell her?
Um, I mean, it
What
depends.
was
I,
it?
I rarely went up with just like, a looks compliment. Typically, I would just try, especially if it was at a bar, I would try to stand next to him. And I would just try to say something about the environment, something we're doing, like, oh, these drinks suck. Like, do you recommend anything? Just something like that. Just anything to start a conversation. Because I think again, if you don't have a signal, if you come in too hot, that's going to increase your chances of getting rejected. But if you come in, a bit more patient and a bit more conversationally, you can get women to then after you have a few back and forths, you can say, hi, I'm Raphael. What's your name? And you just introduce yourself and just continue to talk to her, and then eventually whip out the charm, whip out the humor, whip out all that, and yeah, I've turned women with zero signal into a yes, but it again has to be done with respect, and you also have to be willing to walk away if she doesn't give you anything.
Yeah, 100. I totally agree with that. Yeah, because there are choosing signals that exist within conversation also at the same time. You can
Exactly.
tell right away.
Exactly. If they ask you questions, if they're not just like giving you one word answers, if they're engaging with you, then you're like, okay, I have the green light to continue to talk to her. And that's your chance to obviously show her what you got in terms of like your personality, your humor. I'm a charmer. Like it's something that I've always done. Like I come in with a smile. I come in very friendly. I come in like, talking to me is going to be a decent time. We're all going to have a good time. And if not, have a good night. It's all good. But if you come in with that vibe, a lot of women typically lower their guard.
Never really cold approached anybody, to be honest. Only once, but it happened by accident. So what happened was, me and my friend were bar hopping, and my friend touched, like he tapped a girl on her shoulder, and I was in that direction because like we were walking by her, and then she looked at me and she smiled at me, and like we introduced ourselves. Like, oh yeah, my friend set me up, is what I said. No, it was like my friend that did that. And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we got shots, and she was actually pretty cool. Like, she was a bartender herself, and she just got out of a shift, and there she is, bar hopping herself,
Nice.
bringing shots and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, I lived in Austin for a while, and the bar scene there was like popping. So like you just bar hop. There were streets of just bars, and people were like, even if they weren't giving you a green light, if they're in that environment, typically they're open to being approached. Again, it's such a nuanced thing. There's no, I say in my book, there's no right way to approach, but there are smart ways. There's no one way that's going to work. And anybody who tells you that these are the tricks to work, unless you're like a pickup artist, which again, I don't necessarily endorse any of those techniques, but anyone who tells you there's a guarantee, to get numbers, I wouldn't believe them at all.
I think testing waters is a good idea. Like, you pretend not to be interested in her and you're interested in something else, like the environment or something else. Like, could be anything.
Yeah, I also tell men, one of the things I recommend a lot of guys do is take improv classes, because what improv classes do, it teaches you how to be present in the moment. It teaches you how to listen, and it teaches you to just go with the flow. And that can make conversations very natural. It can make you not have to wonder what you're going to say next, because you're just being present. It's something that has helped me. I did it in high school. I got lucky. I did 2 years of improv, and it changed my life, honestly, because after that, there's just this natural flow to conversations. There's a natural, I'm not waiting to say the next thing. I'm listening, because the next thing is going to come to me. And that helped me a lot. And I think everyone should do it anyway, because you might even meet a girl there. I think it's a good exercise for people.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna go ahead and drop down. Is that your book, or is that like a book you're advertising?
That's my book. Yeah.
You wrote a book?
Yeah. It's a handbook. It's like 56 pages. It basically is a no nonsense way that I give men levels to increase their confidence and become more attractive. And then I go into cold approach, patient approach, all that kind of stuff. But I don't tell men to go talk to women until they get the basics down. You got to get the appearance. You got to get your mental gym. You got to get your physical gym. You got to get all kinds of, you got to learn how to face your fears. You got to learn to trust yourself. There's a number of things, and all of that energy that you develop in the meantime, you bring to you whenever you go and talk to women.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% for sure.
I got free chapters in my bio if you want to check it out. There's 4 free chapters.
All right. Yeah, so it sounds something I'll definitely take a look at.
Sounds good, man.
All right, you take care.
Hey, man, you too.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing all right. How are you, man?
I'm doing okay. Just had a few questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so first off, right, like, do you think there's anything wrong with, casually dating, like, for the rest of your life? Even till the day you get old? Like,
No, if that's what you want to do, no. I think everyone should go after the life they want, and if that's the life you choose, I don't see any problem with it.
and, like, let me tell you the reason why I'm asking. Because, like, I'm actually, like, in a very tough decision right now, right? Even though I'm pretty young for it. So, like, I think I told you my lifelong, like, my milestones, basically. One part of it, at least,
Oh
right?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay. That's something that I kind of want to, even though it's painful to say, but, like, I kind of want to let go of it.
In what way?
Like, just, like, give up on it, basically.
Why?
It's gonna take a while to say. Wait, you got time, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I kind of think it's just not realistic, if I'm being honest.
Meeting a girl in your 30s?
Well, no, it's not even about the age, just finding the type of person I want.
What type of person do you feel like is so unrealistic?
So, okay, like, you know how, like, most people want someone who's gonna be there for them during tough times, right?
For sure.
Like, let's say, for an example, during a financial crisis, a health crisis, that's a major one.
Hmm.
And especially when things, like, especially if you just been with each other for a long time, right? Because you know how, like, when you meet someone at first, right? It might feel all exciting, but it's not gonna be like that forever.
Exactly.
Because, like, the thing is, a lot of people, I don't know if you know this or not, like, they confuse love and infatuation. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Because, like, the feeling of love isn't the same as, like, an infatuation. Because, like, infatuation, that only lasts for, like, what, like, a couple of years, I think? Like,
Honestly, it could be months, dude. It doesn't even to me like in a lot of the relationships I've been in,
Yeah.
I could say within 6 months, when you have your first like fight, you have your first real like kind of conflict, you start to
Okay.
really
Yeah.
see what the relationship's gonna look like. That's when I
I
think
mean,
the infatuation goes away.
yeah, or I guess the honeymoon phase, whatever they want to call it. I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess that's like,
exactly.
I guess that's the I guess that's the longer version because like that lasts for like maybe like 3 years. I think I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the honeymoon it's different for different people. But yeah,
Yeah. So,
your relationship will definitely get out of those phases from infatuation to the honeymoon to just what it's like whenever you're living your life together.
yeah. So that's the thing, and like the thing is, me personally, I mean, people like end their relationships for all types of reasons, right?
Yeah,
But like, one of the most common things you'll hear right now, right, is a lot of people say, "Oh, I just don't feel it anymore, so I left," which I think is pretty unfair to the other person, to be honest.
I mean, it depends on how long that's going on. Like, I mean, some people don't want to waste their time. If you've been dating for someone for 6 months and you're just like, this isn't going to be the person I'm going to marry, I think it's good to get out early.
Well, I mean, that's a different thing. I mean, like, let's say for an example, like, let's say you lost someone, right? Or you think you lost them at first, but then let's say a couple years later, like that person did nothing wrong to you, right?
Hmm.
And then you just randomly say, "Oh, I don't feel it, so I'm leaving." I think that's part unfair.
I'm, I, I don't know. To me, it's like I'm gonna want somebody that's gonna want me regardless. So if somebody's just like I'm not feeling it anymore, I'm not gonna try to convince them to feel it.
Well, yeah, of course, but the thing is, like, I feel like if they say that, right, then in the beginning, what they felt actually wasn't love; it was more of infatuation. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, or circumstances in a relationship change. There's a number of things that can happen. Maybe somebody stops working out. Maybe somebody stops trying. Maybe somebody stops, taking their significant other on dates. There's a number of reasons why people can stop feeling it. Yes, some people are too wishy-washy. Some people don't know what they want, and those people are going to struggle to date their whole life. There are people who think the grass is always greener. Those people also
Mhm.
struggle their whole life to date. If you can't appreciate what you have when you have something great, then you're never going
Yeah.
to, in my opinion, find the stability in a relationship that you're looking for.
Yeah, because like what I was saying is like if your partner did something wrong, such as cheating, abuse, or neglect, or any other things that are deal breakers for your relationship, right? Yeah, then it would make sense why you're not feeling it anymore.
Well, I think there's a number, again, like if you stop trying, if you're not communicating, if you guys aren't trying to have some, sex in the bedroom that's like, it's just kind of like a
Well, yeah,
chore. There's
that's
a
different.
there's a million like I've been in enough long-term relationships that you can see all the stages come and
Yeah.
go, and the relationships that last are the ones where both people are doing what they can to keep the other person happy.
Yeah, exactly. Because what I'm saying is like when the person leaves for absolutely no reason. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've rarely seen that myself personally, but I'm sure it happens, but I don't
Yeah.
have a ton of experience with that.
Yeah, because I've been thinking about it. Speaking of date nights and maybe working out, because things like let's say because of work, right? You may not always find that opportunity to have date nights, right?
Yeah.
And like like your partner should understand that at least, but you can still find time other time. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, if you don't make time for your partner, then it's not going to work either, though.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you should make time, but at the same time, be realistic because life isn't always going to give you that clean space.
Of course. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
be realistic, but yeah, effort it goes a long way.
yeah. And speaking of looks and working out, I mean, me personally, like I find myself very attractive. But the thing is, like, I'm not going to look like this when I get old. Do you see what I'm saying?
Say it again. You don't want to what to your when you're
Like,
old?
for an example, like right now, I consider myself like very attractive, right? Like I
Hmm.
take good care of myself, I work out and all that. But like, it's not like I'm going to have these looks when I'm like in my 50s or 60s. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Looks
like
go, looks fade.
exactly. Like I'm eventually gonna get weaker. I'm not gonna be able to work out the same way. Like even if I take care of myself more, like my looks, they're not gonna be the same though.
Yeah, no.
And
Everyone ages. I'm doing what I can to hang on. I'm approaching 50. I'm trying to do what I can to hang on to my looks, but I know
yeah,
it's a fool's errand to hold on forever.
yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, like yeah, I mean, sure, I can try to keep up like I can try to keep up with my looks, but at the same time, like it's just not gonna stay like how it is right now.
Yeah, no, it's gonna
And
change
like,
for sure.
and if someone says, "Oh, I don't feel it anymore because of this," then that's just ridiculous. Honestly, that's just
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's just
I would hope that if like one of my friends, their partner had kind of a midlife crisis and
Mhm.
started to explore other women, and really broke the heart of my friend.
Yeah.
But some people just have their own issues that they're dealing with, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah. See, like what happened over there. Yeah, then that's the reason why someone could lose feelings because that person did something wrong. Do you see what I'm saying?
yeah, but I'm talking about the guy that just had the crisis, the midlife crisis. You
Wait,
know,
who was the one that was checking out? The guy
the
or the
guy,
girl? The guy. Wait, and who was the one that was heartbroken? Him or the girl?
the girl.
The girl. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I mean, if she lost feelings for him, then I would kind of understand
Yeah,
why. Get it?
but there's a catalyst for losing feelings. Why did that guy now all of a sudden have a midlife crisis?
Wait, hold on. Wait, so who was going through the crisis again? I'm sorry.
The guy.
The guy. Oh, wait. Okay. So and that's why he checked out other women.
Yes. That's why he started to kind of explore other options, kind of behind her back, but then he eventually told her.
Okay. Well,
So,
I mean,
and he didn't
so
cheat, but I'm saying that he had a
okay.
crisis and now
Okay.
was like wondering about the whole relationship, everything they've done together, and all that.
Yeah. Well, I
So,
mean,
that to me is like, that wasn't a woman changing her mind, that was a guy.
yeah, that's the thing. I mean, look, man, I'm not saying it's all women. I didn't see that.
No, I know, but
Yeah, I know.
I'm saying that like, you know, relationships are always risky. I say
100%.
in the
Yeah.
first chapter of my book, I say you can do everything right in a relationship and it could still
Exactly.
end. So
Exactly.
like you if you're afraid of heartbreak,
Yeah.
then you're not cut out for relationships.
I mean, 100%. Like, I agree with what you're saying. And also, the thing is, right? Like, speaking of your friend, like, yeah, I feel bad the fact that he went through something. I mean, I can relate to. But yeah, I mean, he didn't have to do that. That's the thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah, and
yeah,
sometimes yeah, sometimes it just goes that way. You
yeah,
can't control how other people feel. Some people go through a change. Some people, I've seen, yes, I'm married, Faye. And there's just a number of reasons why someone can change their mind. People change their mind, and
yeah,
the only thing you can do is try to be the best partner you can. And obviously, have boundaries. Like if your
yeah,
partner does something like that, and you're like, is this someone I want to stick around with? I don't,
yeah.
you can make the decision.
Yeah, see, the thing is that one person in the chat is saying if both people are doing everything right, it won't end. I mean, I strongly disagree with that because, like, today, right, I was walking in the boardwalk with a guy that I know from the gym, and he's known a couple that's been married for 20 years, right? I swear, the guy did nothing wrong, right? And I'm not attacking women here, but I'm just saying, like, what happened here. Like, he did absolutely nothing wrong after 20 years, and she just left him. That was just insane. I was like, holy crap. And then like this is when I tell my family and my friends that oh no like I give up basically I just want to casually date and have fun. I mean even though it's not fun deep down, like that's when they get upset. It's like oh no I know you well. I'm like how do you know you well? I mean you're not like a god or something. You're not like
Yeah, I mean, some people can be shitty. Some people can say all the time we had together didn't mean anything to me. I'm gonna go be selfish and do whatever I want.
that's
But
horrible. That's horrible.
but the way I see it, man, the way I see it is, if if somebody doesn't want to be here, I'm not gonna try to convince them to. And of course,
Oh
it's
yeah,
gonna
hundred
suck. Of
percent. Me
course,
too.
it's gonna, but it's like, no, I only want to be in a relationship with somebody that wants to be here.
Exactly,
Um,
100%.
and
The
I'm gonna
only
hold up my end of the bargain, but
yeah.
that's all I can do.
I mean yeah, of course if someone wants to leave, I would never in my life try to like force them to stay. But at the same time, I just don't want. I'm just afraid of my time being wasted. Like, do you see what I'm saying?
For sure,
Yeah.
but I
'Cause,
think
like,
that's why it's okay to get out early if you're not feeling it. But once you're in for like for example, let's say you're dating somebody for a few months and then they come down with a major illness, and you're not necessarily in the position to want to take care of this person. I don't think you're obligated to do that. But
yeah, of
if you're
course not.
10,
No.
15 years into a relationship, then yeah, that's the time when you guys have hunkered down and you've made a commitment to each other.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's
the thing.
different. So I'm okay with, like, again, early on, if things are not feeling, I think it's okay to get out early.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's one thing. Cause like I mean, see, like I feel like love, right? Like the difference between love and infatuation, like love is something that stays more steady. Do you see what I'm saying? And infatuation, that's like that goes out more quicker.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
infatuation is often in the early stages. Yeah, but people fall out
Yeah,
of love
exactly.
too. Again, people can change. Some people go through, like I said, midlife crises.
Yeah.
Some people, I've seen women and men who had very little experience with other partners when they got together, and then curiosity is often the thing that can drive people apart because they haven't experienced other people.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like, yeah. 'Cause, I mean, the thing is, there's always a reason, but even if it's small, that's the thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, I mean, no reason at all. To me, that's just bullshit. Then you were just infatuated. That's all I can say. I mean, people don't want to admit it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And like, Gen Zs. I mean, like, dude, I can bet on like $1 million or in the whole house I'm living in right now that like they will have the highest divorce rate.
Gen Z.
Yeah, 100%. Like, there's just no way that they won't.
I think that's a safe prediction, unfortunately. I think Gen Z grew up in the most ADHD, um,
Yeah.
there's options everywhere era. I was lucky enough to have dated IRL before dating apps and before social media.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like I've seen what people, yeah, that's right. Books, coffee, garden, which divorce rates now are lower because I think people are being pickier, but we haven't seen what Gen Z is going to look like. In fact, we still know that a lot of Gen Z men are single.
Yeah.
So they
Wait,
might not be getting the same reps and experience that other people do.
wait. I mean, sorry to interrupt, but like, wait, divorce rates are actually over 50%. So I don't know how it's
They're
lower.
not. First time divorce rates are 42%. First marriage.
42. Okay. I mean, I keep hearing 50. I don't know why, but
It's because people regurgitate stuff without looking into it. I'm not saying you. I'm saying I've heard that too a million times.
yeah.
Then I looked into it. First marriages 42%. Subsequent marriages after have a higher and higher chance of a divorce.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Subsequent marriages, your second, third, etc., those have a higher
Oh yeah.
chance of divorce.
Yeah. Because I
So
heard
you know
the
what
more
it
you
is.
marry,
You
the
know what
more.
it is that you're hearing. It's the
Yeah.
aggregate of all those marriages. So if you look at just first marriages, 42%.
Yeah.
If you take into account second, third, etc., then it gets up to like 50.
Oh, okay. That's what. Okay, then that's
Yeah,
what happened.
but there's more nuance to that stat. I think that's why. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, this is one thing that like my parents they told me this actually, because like I personally think someone who's gonna be with you during like let's say illness, a financial crisis, or just like a problem that you're facing in life, right? Because life just throws challenges at you. Yeah, I think finding someone who's gonna stay with you during that time is kind of rare. Actually, it's almost like finding treasure. I could say.
Yeah, I mean it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. There's again, you can do everything right and it still can fail.
Yeah.
There's no question that relationships, and this is another thing I say in the intro of my book. Relationships are the hardest thing we do as a human species. That's why there's so many breakups. Most relationships, statistically, I'm not talking marriages. Most relationships statistically end because you have breakups. You dated someone in high school, you dated somebody after, you date throughout college, you date into your adulthood. All of
Yeah.
those relationships you had end. You're just hoping that the one that means the most to you doesn't.
I mean, it's scary, man. Yeah, because I mean, I'm telling you, like most people, right? And like, this is the truth that no one's gonna want to hear. And I'm not trying to like to give some bad news. This is just reality. I mean, the amount of people who's gonna stay with you through thick and thin. I mean, that's not what most of us want, at least. I mean, that's what I can say. And I'm sure you want that too. Like, the amount of people who's gonna stay with you through thick and thin is almost like 3%, I'd say, if I'm being generous.
What was 3%?
Like, okay, the amount of people, right, who's gonna stay with you during problems, like let's say if you ever get sick, you lose your looks to an accident, or just any problem you're facing in life. The amount of people who's gonna stay is probably 3%, if I'm being generous.
Yeah, no, I mean
That's
it's
I
yeah, a
mean,
lot of people, in fact, statistically, men are more likely to leave their partner if they like come down with cancer. Like that's
I
something
mean
that
that's horrible. Yeah.
it's horrible, exactly. I wouldn't
Yeah.
leave my wife for anything. My wife would have to do something terrible for me to leave her. Like she'd have to kill my dog. Um,
Dang.
I
Well, yeah,
mean,
like
I
same thing.
obviously, cheat on me or something, but she would have
Yeah.
to do something horrible for me to leave her. Or there's a couple things I've said to her, like if she's ever like terrible to me on purpose, like she's ever like purposely
Oh yeah,
trying
like
to like
you said it one
be,
time. Yeah, like
yeah, I'm out.
me too. Yeah.
If
What if it happens one time? Like let's say you guys get into an argument and she probably
That's
says
different.
something.
That's different. Yeah, and also when we argue, we are never mean to each other ever. If
No, no,
anything, I might be more mocking, which I shouldn't do. It's something that I've also worked on. But I've never called her a name. I will never. But I also, just in general, we've gotten to the point where our arguments are not about fighting. It's more like
Yeah.
we are trying to but we've been going to couples therapy since before we got married. So like we
Okay.
have like tools, we have an understanding of each other. We know what I know what her upbringing has made her turn out to be, and she knows what my upbringing has made me turn out to be. So I'm aware of the things that she's dealing with. She's aware of the things I'm dealing with, and because
Yeah.
of that, we're able to navigate our relationship in a lot better. But that's why I think mental health is important for everybody. I have my own personal mental health. She does too, and we have our joint stuff too, because we care about the
Yeah.
relationship so much that we work on it to that degree.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. So like, since I'm having to leave this goal, right, which is kind of not an easy part. So like, how do I get used to it? Could you like give me some advice on that?
I don't know why you're giving up on the goal. I still haven't understood
Well, I
that
mean,
part.
I told you, I told.
Just because you don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, that person also doesn't exist, or like that person's in very low numbers, like 3% if I'm being generous.
Um, my advice is not to live such rigidly where you're like, I'm no longer okay. Here's what I'll say: if
Yeah.
you can give up on the goal today, but let's say you meet a girl tomorrow that
Yeah.
is in that same, you're gonna not date her because of that.
Wait, say again, I'm sorry.
So you're saying I don't believe I'm gonna find the girl that I want to marry, so I'm going to
Yeah.
give up. But if you met her tomorrow, would you give up?
Well, I mean, if I found her, then well, no. But at the same time, like
Then I
I'm
don't think you
absolutely.
need to give up. What I'm telling you is that live day to day without this like
Yeah.
overarching I'm going to find this person. Don't think about it. Just try to date as often as you can. Try
Yeah.
to meet women as often as you can. You don't need to go out of your way, but I don't but the idea of giving up to me means you're kind of like you're giving up, and I don't think you need to. I think you just need to understand that, like, you don't need to make your entire focus, but be open to it.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but the thing is, so like, yeah, your example, you said, what if you meet her tomorrow? I mean, like, let's be real, man. I mean, I started talking to women like what? Well, not well. I mean, when I was young, I started talking to girls, but that's like not the same. But like, yeah, I've in the past year, I've met like a lot of women, right, in my area, especially, and like even not a single one aligned with how like I like, like not a single one aligned with the type I want.
Say it again.
So basically, in the past year, right, I actually met a lot of women in my area, right, and like out of all the ones that I met, like not even one of them like aligned with the type of women I want.
Where was the misalignment?
So basically, like, okay, so yeah, the commitment part, being together through tough times, like I said, whether it's an illness or accident. I feel like that's one part, the committing, and the second part is like the gender roles. Okay, that's the thing. Like this one is more mixed. I feel like I mean I didn't like go through this one, but like I never talked about it. But online, I always see how like a lot of women say they want to gotta pay for everything, right? And that's not the type that I want. I want someone who's gonna build a life with me. So yeah, that's one part.
I mean, those women exist, man. A lot of women date in college when the guy doesn't have anything.
Well, I mean, no, but that's in college though. But I'm talking when they get older. But I feel like when they get older, they kind of want them to pay for everything.
I mean, I do think when you get older, women probably do want you to be more established in your career. But pay
Well,
for
yeah, that. But
everything. I mean, I don't know. I've never met a woman that tells me to pay for everything. That's never happened.
well, okay,
Dates maybe, and especially initially, but pay for everything.
yeah.
Like you're talking about the mortgage and the bills and the clothes and the nails. That's never happened to me.
Well, no, the thing is, okay. I mean, establishing the career, I'm sure we want the women that we're with to be like that as well. I mean, that's what we want in adults, basically. But yeah, the paying for everything, like, so here's where it turns around. Like, I can almost bet you that if I started making enough, right? Let's say if I had millions of dollars, right? Then she would be like, oh, I don't want to work anymore. That's the thing. That's what turns me off.
So that she doesn't want to work anymore.
Yeah, because like like what it's either that or like she's just gonna have me pay for all the expenses,
I
which I
just
don't
I
want to.
don't think that in no way I think is a reflection of reality. Now, especially I just saw a stat. Oh, damn! I just
Yeah.
forgot I was supposed to record that today.
Hmm.
There is a new Fortune put out an article that basically says that like as of 2026, women now hold more payroll jobs than men in the United States for the first time outside of a recession. So literally they're basically saying women now officially are on payroll more than men are. So I don't know of women that expect men to not. There's no single income anymore. There's no single household income unless someone is extremely wealthy. That just isn't the expectation anymore. And I've asked so many women, do you need a man to be the main breadwinner? And they say no. Would you date a guy
Well,
who
yeah.
earns less money than you? Yes, and that is a number that's going to continue to increase.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good thing, but at the same time, like what I've seen a lot, right? And this is the part that gives me a clue. Like I've seen a lot of divorces, and like let's say after 10 or 20 years, right? 20 years makes it even worse because then you get more. The alimony part, that's the part that kind of like drives me insane.
Only 10% of marriages end up with a man paying alimony. You have a lot of fears, man. You have a lot of fears that I don't know that they're warranted.
Wait, only 10%.
Only 10% of marriages end with a man paying alimony, or the woman. It's rarer, but often when they are the breadwinner, they also have to pay alimony.
Well, yeah, that's when they're the breadwinner, but like in most marriages, that I think that's the one that who makes slightly more, if not.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that you can again look up the stats. Any fear you have, go to a good AI and ask it what the things that you need to that you fear. Because I'm telling you, I do all this data myself because I need to be able to talk about these things. But yeah, most marriages do not end in alimony, and I don't know why. And also, alimony is often only, and the splitting of assets is only after what you guys accumulated after you got married. It's rarely that they get to take everything you had prior. So like if you built up a whole thing and you get divorced, if that property was
Yeah.
never something she lived in or was
Yeah.
something you acquired prior, it
Yeah.
isn't subject to the divorce. So I just, this fear, it to me is
Well, I
just
mean,
completely unwarranted.
well, the thing is, I mean, like, I'm in the middle of starting a business, right? And the thing is, eventually, even if I did get married, right, which isn't gonna happen, but like, if I did, of course, it's gonna grow, and like, as it grows, then we're gonna have it together, and then as years go on, like, if she divorces me in the 10th or 20th year, like, that's when it hits the hardest, like that's
Yeah,
because financial loss is like,
but if you're really worried about it, man, you get a prenup. There's a million things you can do. Like you don't need to worry about your financial situation. Like it's just not something that most men have to deal with.
I mean, I hope not, because like like a lot. Okay, the one thing about the red pill, right? And this is what confuses me. They often say, "Oh, like make a lot of money and then get married." But the thing is, okay, well, and then like once you got to pay alimony, like that's when you want to get mad. That part doesn't make any sense to me, like that.
Yeah,
Like,
but again, you only have to split the assets. Alimony, yeah, there's a number of reasons, but you don't always have to pay alimony. I got divorced when I was 25. I didn't have to pay alimony. Like it
wait, so like, how long were you married though? How long? Because I heard it happens like if it's been after 10 years.
like a year and a half.
Well, yeah, that's probably why. Because like I heard like if it's been 10 years or more, that's when you have to pay.
Yeah, maybe. I don't quite know, but I know that I didn't have to pay anything, and again, 90% of men don't.
I mean, I hope because like like the one reason why most men don't like initiate divorces is because of the fear of paying child support and alimony. That's the one part. Because I mean, let's say if they didn't have to do it, then I feel like the amount of men who file for divorces would be equivalent to how many women do it.
What do you mean?
Because like okay, like how a lot of guys complain about having their financial situation ruined because they paid alimony, right? Because I feel like this is the reason why a lot of men like initiate for divorces less than women do.
What's the reason you think men initiate divorces less? Because of alimony?
Yeah, because they don't want to pay all that.
I don't believe that for a second. Do you know the reasons women file for divorce?
I'm sorry.
Do you know the reasons women file for divorce?
Well, I'm sure they have all different kinds of reasons, right?
Yeah, but it's not because they're trying to get paid out. And most of the time, men are happy in their relationship, and it's the women that's unhappy in their relationship. So they're often, I'm going to post about this divorce lawyer who you've probably seen the guy. He's like the most popular divorce lawyer on the internet. He says that, yeah, women file for a lot of them, but what you don't see is that a lot of guys just leave. They just abandon the marriage. They just go away. They go find another apartment. They go off on their own. And the only recourse is women to file for divorce.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's one thing, but yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, they all have different kind of reasons. I mean, like, for some it can be infidelity. For some, it could be the reason I explained earlier, the whole falling out of love bullshit. And I mean, I guess lack of communication is fine. That one's real. I'm not gonna lie. And just the neglect, I guess. I mean, those are the ones I hear the most.
Yeah, there's a number of reasons why people file, but I just think you have a lot of fear, and I think that's what you got to get rid of. If you live your life around fear, it's not going to give you a fulfilling life. You have to be willing to risk things, otherwise you're never going to get what you want. What you want is often on the other side of fear. If you're really worried about alimony, again, it doesn't have to be. Again, 90. There's a big chance you're not gonna have to pay it because most guys don't have to.
Wait, okay, is it true? It's actually 90 that doesn't have to pay. Is it? Wait,
I've stated you can look it up, but only 10% of marriages end with a guy paying alimony.
so yeah, I never knew that. I mean, okay, but okay. So basically, books, coffee, garden. It's like this person like wants me to pay alimony. Like it's just hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. It's just.
I don't think anybody wants you to pay alimony. You're just worried about something that doesn't happen to most men.
I mean, it's on the comments. Look at it. I mean, it's on. I mean, okay. Look, I mean, if I broke up with someone, I wouldn't want to care for them. That's the thing. I mean, once we're broken up, I just don't like. No. And the thing is, I haven't told you before. I mean, I don't want to be with someone who wants to be a housewife. I want to be with someone who wants to work as well.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the thing.
that exists. In fact, most women, as I just told you, are working more than men. So there's a good chance that you'll find that.
I mean, no, because the thing is, let's say for example, if I start making enough, right? Because the field that I'm going in eventually does pay enough, and if I add it up with my business, it's gonna be even more money. So like, the one thing that I don't like is that they're gonna be like, oh, I mean, since you make enough, I don't want to work anymore. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't.
Why are you worried about that? That doesn't happen. That doesn't.
I mean,
Half
I
of
mean,
households, women are making as much as their husbands.
I mean, my sister's like that. That's why, man. Like, that's one
Some
that
women
shapes.
are, but again, half of households, women are making more than their or as much as their husbands.
Because like, listen, because what happens is like, if she stops working, right, and like, I actually want to be someone that helps out with household stuff, right, and like, because for example, let's say if she stops working, right, like let's say 10 or more years pass by, I'm gonna have to like lose my shit, and that part's gonna be annoying. Because I hate losing money too. It's just not what I like doing.
Nobody likes losing money. There's not a single
Yeah.
person on earth that likes losing money. So you just have a lot of fear, man. You everything you've said since you've got on is fear based. I don't think I'm gonna find this woman, so I'm giving up. I'm afraid that I'm gonna get too deep into a relationship and I'm gonna lose money. I'm afraid that someone's gonna leave for no reason at all. There's a lot of fear in almost everything you've stated so far.
Well, I mean, of course it's a fear because I mean the thing is I don't want to have to go through that process.
But okay, no one wants to go through a divorce. No one wants to go through a breakup. Nobody wants to go through heartbreak. But those are the risks you have to take if you want something meaningful.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
It's like if you want to start a business, don't you need to put some money in? Don't you need
Well,
to
well, of course. No, I mean, like that's different from like supporting someone financially after a divorce because that's different. Because someone like who you don't like anymore. I mean, why would I want to pay them?
Dion? How many
Yeah.
men pay alimony after a divorce?
I mean, 10 to 15%, but who knows? I mean, like someone could be one of them. That's the thing.
This is fear based. There is a 90% chance you won't have to pay alimony. And you're still scared. And you can always get a prenup if you're really that worried about it. Get a prenup, man. Like it's not that big of a deal. You can protect yourself from having to do any of that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I hope. I guess. I mean, that's the thing.
And that is becoming more and more common. I don't understand the fear. I just don't get it. You're listening to too many of these you're listening to too many of these influencers, man.
No, it's not even the influencers. People in real life told me too. One of my teachers, like even it happened to him as well.
It happens to people, but it's such again, statistically, it is unlikely.
And like, what's it called? Like the thing is, the reason why I want to do casually dating is because like, yeah, because this person, I mean, like, if I didn't see it so far yet, like, then chances are they probably don't exist. And I'm not even trying to like hate women here. I'm just trying to say what's in reality.
But it's not the reality.
I mean, so you're telling me like, okay, now I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but like, you're telling me if I made millions, right? Like, most likely the woman of, like, most women wouldn't want to stop working,
Don't date women that want to do that.
but they can change their mind. That's the issue.
Well, everyone can change their mind. That's the issue. Anybody can do that at any time in life. My wife today can say, you know what? Turns out I like women. What am I supposed, like, so I'm not supposed to be with my wife because there's a chance that she changes her mind?
Well, I guess I don't know.
Like that's what I'm saying. Everything you're saying is fear-based. If you live a life fearful, you aren't going to live a full life.
I mean, this is the one fear that I have the most because I've seen it happen to a lot of people as well. I mean, especially people who are older as well, because I mean, they'll tell you more about it. Like they have more experience in it as well. Because divorces, they were higher like among like millennials and like Gen X is the most.
Um yeah, I don't know, man. This you I hope that you can address your fears and your insecurities, man, because again, that you're going to limit the life that you live. Um if you're just afraid of the potential outcomes, and there are again so many safeguards you can have against it.
Okay, so like answer one thing. So do you think me giving up on this goal is worth it, like or not? Because like everyone around me is telling it's not, but I don't believe them. So what would you say?
Say it again.
So like everyone around me, right, is saying like this goal that I want to like let go of, right, isn't worth letting go of. So would you say like I'm doing is reasonable or not?
What I'm saying is that you don't need to make it such a hard, rigid thing where he's like, well, I'm giving up completely. Again, if you met a woman tomorrow that is okay with all the things that you're interested in a relationship, you would see that person. So stop focusing on like, I have this strong goal I have to get to every day. Just live every day normally, because you have already accepted that maybe it won't happen, and that's okay. It's okay to accept that the things you want in life might not happen. That's okay too. But what I'm saying is you don't need to be so rigid about it. Be open to what the universe is going to give you. Do not be fearful. Be open to whatever's going to come into your life. I highly recommend you read, like, have you ever read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius or any of these like ancient Stoic books?
No, I haven't actually.
It's good stuff for like managing the anxiety that life can throw your way, because what it does is it gives you the principled belief that I cannot affect the actions of anyone else, or I can't affect the actions of the earth itself, but I can affect how I feel about them. And all I have to control is my mind and how I think. And that is all you can control. And once you accept that, and once that's how you live your life, a lot of your fears go away.
I understand that, and like you see the money part, that wasn't the only thing, and like the thing is, I'm 20 years old, so I'm a Gen Zer, and Gen Zs. I mean, the thing is, they don't even want to stay during tough times. I mean, you can ask most Gen Z people, like, if you said, "Oh, would you stay if your partner got sick, gone to an accident, or was struggling financially?" They'd almost all say no.
I mean, again, if someone is not in a deep relationship, then yeah, people won't stick around. If you're not 10 years in, if you're not deep into a relationship, yeah, most people won't do that, Gen Z or not.
Wait, so like, let's say if someone was married for 1 year, right?
Hmm.
Like, and like, let's say they ended up getting cancer or whatever. I mean, God forbid.
Hmm.
So like, would you think it's appropriate for their partner to leave?
Of course not, but it happens.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So
Yeah.
for me, it's not necessarily about the length, but it's the fact that you even made a vow to this person, but now you want to do that.
I mean, there are men who cheat on their wives when they're going through cancer treatment. There are men who
I
cheat
mean,
on their wives when their wives are pregnant,
yeah,
like
it's
Donald
horrible.
Trump. You know, like it is it. No, of course it's horrible, but I'm saying that like no, all these things, in my opinion, are terrible ways to act. But that doesn't change the fact that, um, if you're gonna live a life based on fear, then yeah, you're gonna miss out on everything. You're gonna miss out on every risk that's worth taking. And I truly believe that heartbreak is worth it because loving and being in a strong partnership is something that I think is something that humans want more than anything. And yeah, that comes with risks, but so does anything in life worth doing.
So wait, one person, wait, I think her name's Doctor whatever. Wait, she said if the right woman came along, I wouldn't care about any of this. I mean, of course I would. I'm not just gonna overlook problems. I mean, come on.
A lot of people do change their mind whenever they meet somebody and they can't help it.
Wait, what do you mean like change their mind? Like, what do you mean?
I've heard women say, I only want to date somebody that's 6 foot tall and then marry a 5'5" guy. You don't, you can think this is what you want in life, but whenever
Mhm.
life presents itself to you, sometimes you change your mind.
Wait, but like, I don't even know what this person's talking about me changing my mind though. Like, I mean, what do you mean not care about any of this? I mean, of course I don't want to get wronged and all that stuff. So what do you mean? Like,
They're saying that like you're very rigid with how you see the world, how you see dating, how you see all of it, and you're like, if it's not this, this, and this, and I get having standards, of course, but I think what they're
yes.
saying is that there's a good chance that if you meet somebody that you just fall in love with, a lot of the people will overlook a lot of the stuff that they initially said they were worried about.
Okay, no, I thought she meant like me not having standards. I was like, okay, no, I mean, of course I'm gonna care about my standards. I mean, what the hell? I mean, that's not gonna change. Because my standards aren't even that high. They're like medium. I'll be honest. Because I don't try to make them too high because that's when it gets unrealistic.
Well, Diane, I really feel like it's, try your best to not live in fear. Look at actual statistics, do
Okay.
actual research. Don't just listen to what people say online. Do your
I mean, no,
own.
it's not even people online. Because like even people around me, like I've seen so many divorcees. That's the thing.
Divorces happen, but
Yeah, and
I'm not telling you to get married, but I'm telling you to stop living in fear. That's what
mhm,
I'm telling you. You can do whatever you want, but you
mhm.
are living a fear-based life, and that is not a
Yeah,
solid way to live.
and it's not like that. I wouldn't. It's not like I don't want to get married. I mean, of course I do one day. But the thing is, like, I could almost bet on $1 million that that person probably doesn't exist. Like, that's the thing.
That's fear-based.
And how's it fear based? I mean, I'm just being on realism.
Because there's billions of people in the world. The chances
Yeah, but
that
that.
that person exists is high.
Well, I mean, I hope. I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah, man. Just again, take every day at a time, but don't live in this fear. I'm telling you, it's going to cramp your life. It's going to cripple your growth. It's going to suck joy out of your life, and you need all the joy you can get.
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, okay. So, do you think? I mean, I just need an opinion from you. Like, do you think I should give up on this goal or not? Like, because I'm still. I mean,
I don't have an opinion on whether or not you should give up, but what I'm telling you is don't stress about this goal. Just live your life. And if you meet a woman that you want to be with, you are going to probably be with her. But don't worry about I give up on this goal. I'm not gonna like just live your life. I didn't say I'm gonna get married one day. I dated and dated and dated because I like dating and I like women. And then eventually I said I want to spend my life with this person, and so I did. I
yeah.
didn't set out this whole thing. I did date with intention. I did date for long term, but where that goes, that's up to take it day by day.
Yeah. Well. All right. Well, thank you so much.
All right, homie.
All right. All right. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Good to hear
Sorry.
from you
Hi.
again.
Yeah, good to hear from you. I just wanted to clear up a misconception real quick because I think that, and I'm sure you know this, but I think that it's important for especially young men like this to understand is that divorce is far more risky for women than it is for men. So, this fear that men have of paying support, especially alimony, because we know that as the years progress, alimony is less and less. And it's usually only paid out to very high earners. But or people who have been in a relationship for a very, very long time, and the woman has no work history and no skill set to support herself, which in that case, she does deserve to help be supported because she helped you build the life that you had, and with probably completely unpaid labor. But the statistics for single women, especially single mothers in poverty, is far greater than men. The rates of unpaid child support, like just completely unpaid, it's just over 30% that people don't get paid anything that they are due. And then the rates go up even higher for, yes, they may get paid, but it's very sporadically and not nearly what they're owed.
Yeah.
The highest rates of poverty are single mothers. So this fear that a lot of these young men have of, well, I'm going to have to pay to support them if I get divorced. One, if you're truly supporting your wife and you go into that agreement, then if you love the person and you love your children, you should be willing to support them, whether you guys are together or not, because you love that person and you don't want them to have a terrible life, no matter what.
Yeah, and you know, again, if your partner gives up a career that they could have been building for years, and then the marriage ends, they're put in a really bad position. That's why alimony exists to begin with. Additionally, you won't have to pay child support if you actually try to get custody of your child. You won't have to, but most men never try, so they end up paying child support.
Yep, absolutely. So just to end that, if anybody is still here, like listening, who does have that fear, I would encourage you to actually look up the statistics of what you guys have been told or what you assume. Because when you actually dig into the statistics, it's pretty shocking because it goes against everything that a lot of these guys are thinking or what they've been told.
I mean, that's, you know, it's sad because I think if guys really they just have this fear, and it's like if you actually looked into the actual data, and again, the average child support payment I think is like $400, and like you said, a lot of guys don't even pay it.
And here, this guy just said, if I am divorced by someone, I could care less how they are. Let me tell you what, if you love a person, it's unconditional love, whether you fall out of love with each other or not. Like, I'm married and we have children. That's the father of my children. If for whatever reason something happened and we were not together, I've even told him, I would never want you to have a terrible life, to be in a terrible situation. Like, you're the person that I chose to love.
I think if we get a divorce for whatever reason, and that person is out on their luck, yeah, I want to make sure that they're taken care of. But I don't know. I've never approached any sort of relationship with the fear that at the end of the day I'm going to pay some money out. Like, it's just not something I worried about ever. And
if you're going to be a spiteful person and you don't care, especially if that person is the mother of your child, then you definitely should not, one, have children with another person, and two, you probably shouldn't get married, because that's not going to create for a good, loving partner.
Agreed.
Anyway, thanks for letting me up.
Of course, thank you. Thanks for the input. Let me get to some comments real quick before I let somebody else in. This idea also, I see what you're saying, Ben. You know, if you pick the right partner, the chances of you becoming a single parent is lower. But the problem is you can't control other people. Sometimes dudes just leave. And again, they don't fight for custody of the children. They don't fight for sole custody of the children. So often men have to pay child support. Women can't always choose what the man's going to do. Someone can just completely leave, and that person, regardless of their intelligence or whatever, is often going to be having to raise the child, because men tend to abandon that responsibility. Yes, the majority of divorces are initiated by women, but I don't know if you heard me say earlier, there's a number of reasons why that is. Men don't file for divorce, not because they're happy in the relationship, not because they're the ones fighting for the relationship, but often because they're the ones that checked out, and women are the ones that file the paperwork. And if you looked into the reasons why people file for divorce, you would understand that you're saying something like they're initiated by women as if they're just like bored and leaving. That isn't the case. Like, it's just not in any way. Yes, women file for divorce, but there's reasons. That is not, like, you got to also understand there's causation and correlation are two different things. And yes, ideally, child love is unconditional for children, obviously. Exactly. Men force women to file. Sometimes husbands can't even make their own doctor's appointments, let alone file for divorce. Exactly. Number two reason people file for divorce is infidelity. Who's going to be the one that files? Probably the one that got cheated on. So if women, the number two reason they're filing is infidelity, they're obviously a reason why they file. They're not just bored. That's the thing. How to avoid coming off as too strong when dating? That's a great question, Ali. This is on Instagram. So check this out. I preach confidence more than I preach anything else, because confidence is, I want you in my life, but I don't need you in my life. And when you feel that way about yourself, then anyone that you bring into your life is just going to be an addition. They're going to be someone that you just build with and can grow with. So if you don't want to come on strong, then you got to be confident, because when you come on strong, it can be off-putting. When you come in like, this is me, if you're not cool with it, that's fine with me, that is attractive. So confidence is the way you come off not so strong. Here's some advice to men: stop dating. I think that's bad advice, Taylor. Because then who women are going to date? I mean, they can go date women, I guess, but no, I think we want to be dating, and we got to get people back together. Bullshit. You just have to be tall. Hey, normies. What percentage of men are tall in the United States? And then compare that to the percentage of men who are married. I mean, Taylor, that's your prerogative. Men can't date if everyone's 4B, but not everyone's 4B. Do I know what scents women like? Clean, to start. For me, I don't really wear cologne. I wear deodorant, but that's about it. I don't know. Maybe some women can sound off on like scents. My wife and I were at, she was buying some stuff at Sephora, and they had like a cologne section. I was like, let's go over there and like just sniff the guy's stuff and see if there's anything you like. And she was just like, whatever. So I don't know. My wife doesn't seem to care about that stuff either. 50% of American men are tall and married. Incorrect. In fact, let me get you up here because you're commenting and I know you're in line. Yeah, this guy Ali on Instagram says he's 6'1" and struggling, and it's so height doesn't matter. It's very true. Height is not it's cope to say height is the only reason you're not getting a relationship. I can promise you that. But I can tell you confidence will increase your chances. All right, Curry, what's up?
Hi. I just have a, I don't know how to say this. I have a like an overall topic I want to address,
Okay.
but I also would want you to psychoanalyze me and the way I describe myself.
I'm not a therapist, but I can do my best.
I know that, yeah, but the best way you can with your,
Okay.
celebrity influencer degree. So let's just say that I have grievances with all categories of this gender dynamic regarding to men, because I think a lot of men are stupid, incompetent, and whatever. And I also have frustrations with women. And a part of me where I can acknowledge it is that I think that it does overall lay into misogyny and what do you call it? I don't know, just I don't want to say hatred, but I would say that it's deep seated animosity when I hear these generalizations about men being categorized as something as a whole to which statistically they cannot be, even if it's a fringe group. Let's say the 50 or 62 million thing that came up. I'm not going to reference it because I don't want to get you in trouble on your,
I
but
just found out about that yesterday.
yes, and I thought it was crazy too. But just me pointing out that it wasn't 62 million men, but it was that it was 62 million visits on it. So the difference between that was that, you know, you can be able to acknowledge something as bad and still want to be correct on the subject matter. And then you would have opposers from the, like the left progressive feminist side about how you are somehow advocating or condoning or stuff like this, or how if it's one man it's all men and stuff like that, or just like the generalizations of the sex of men, right? I don't want to be able to have these adverse emotional reactions towards the opposite sex. Like I genuinely, like I can think it in my head to not think these things, right? That it is wrong, that I shouldn't have these feelings about women. But then whenever I hear these videos, like I know it doesn't represent women as a whole, but it really irritates me because I can rationalize and logically deduce why the red pill men are morons, right? Because I don't have any emotional attachment to that. But then I can also tell that a lot of BS is being spoken on the other aisle too, but I'm less rational in the way I'm feeling and how I communicate with the other side. Because once I try to act cordial, sometimes I can lose my temper. And even then, I like my entire point with this is I'm trying to become a better man. I'm trying to understand how it is that, I don't let a lot of, what do you call it? Not even on the subject of relationships, but like it could be the subject matter of race. It could be about demographics and all that stuff. I have my opinions about things, and I don't want that to uh, undervalue the type of person I want to become. I do want to become as much of an altruistic, moral person, not to toot my own horn. It's just that I want to be, the best version I can be. How can I do that? How can I not be some, bum in this way?
No, I love the question. I love that you approached it with a lot of honesty. Um, Here's what I'll say to start with the all men thing. Like just to start there. Like one, I hate when people generalize generally. Like I don't like generalizations. That's my big problem with the red pill is they always talk like all women are like this. And a lot of guys who don't have experience with women believe it. And so they start to think every woman is like this. And with when you actually go out and experience women in the real world, you realize none of them are all the same. They're not a monolith. Some women like shy guys, some women like bad boys. There's no one way that anyone can be. Now, when it comes to women generalizing men, now obviously I think that's horrible too. But the difference here, one, when I heard about the 62 million thing, and I hear women saying if it's not it's all men until it's no men, I don't take that personally. Mostly because obviously I find myself to be a good person, and I'm going to do everything I can to continue to try to be a good person. And women have more of a fear of being hurt by men than we do of being hurt by women. Women, obviously, they can break our hearts, they can cheat on us, they can do stuff like that. But it's nothing compared to the fear that women face every day when it comes to the general safety of their well being around men. They can't tell who the good men are until they get to know them, until they can trust them, all of that stuff. And so I think it's just a bit of a difference. So the way I approach it, and it's something I talk about in my book too. Like I talk about like when you are going to even try to talk to a woman like out at a bar, you have to understand that like they don't always feel safe around men. So you need to have that kind of empathy to understand that like I'm talking to somebody who might even have a fear of me, because of her past, because of the stuff she hears online, etc. So understanding that nuance and coming in as somebody that's like, I'm safe, making women feel safe. I've never had any sort of women worry about me after I made them feel safe. So for me, it's like, be the best version of yourself that you can be. And that's what it sounds like you want to do. So how do you do that? First step, you stop worrying about the reactions of others. You more focus on what is within your control. What's within your control is you're not one of the 62 million visitors. You're not somebody who's out there trying to hurt women. You're not out there trying in any way to, you are trying to be a good person. And that is what's within your control. You can't control how other people perceive you. You can hope to convince them that you're trustworthy, but I don't worry about women thinking about all men or whatever. I don't walk around in the world worried that women are going to think of me necessarily as a danger, because I know I'm not a danger. And if they talk to me, they'll realize that pretty quickly. So how do you focus on being the best person that you can be? Me personally, I think, I outline a lot of this in my book, but I tell men, you don't want to be a nice guy, you want to be a good man. And to be a good man, in my opinion, it's you have the intentions of trying to, for example, if you focus on going to the gym, working on your physical health, you should also spend just as much time working on your mental health. And if you're working on your mental health and you're understanding yourself and your emotions and your intentions and all of that, if you choose to be a good person, you will be a good person. It is a choice that we all make. We can all decide to be cruel, or we can all decide to be nice. And you can make those decisions anytime. Even as somebody on the street call me the worst name in the world, I get to choose how I react. I can decide, am I going to let this guy get to me, or am I just going to move on? And you get to make that decision. And you get to make that decision every single time. And so if you really focus on the only thing that you can control is your reaction to the world. You can't control the world, but you can control your reaction to it. Then you make the decisions that you think are the right decision to be a good person.
Okay, I don't know if that's as much as you would let me speak. If I can say more, if that's okay. Yeah. So like an example would be, I have this weekly session where I meet this volunteer person who happens to be a woman. She's very nice. She's very respectful. Any interaction I have with women, I feel like I have to, I don't want to say a fake personality, but it's definitely not the personality I have around my friends, right? Specifically my male friends, is because I feel like I have to tone shift into, not saying as much offensive things as I do with my friends. Because in the context with my friends, we use these, I don't want to say dank because I'm Gen Z. It's going to sound stupid, but these offensive ways of humor, but we mask it in the absurdity of what it is. We don't genuinely mean the things we say, but I feel like there is a way, not in regards of humor, but not in regards of humor, but in regards of just the topics I try to talk to them about. Because sometimes I feel like I might say something that they might be completely opposed to, and I don't want to, hurt their feelings, and I don't want to say something that might jeopardize whatever relationship we might have. obviously it's acquaintances or whatever, but I just feel like I'm putting up a fake persona of what I am because I feel like there's more nuance to the discussions we're talking about and we're trying to solve as a society. But I feel like specifically with women, I feel like they're on the right track of what that solution might be. But I feel like there might be more to it. Not that I'm saying I know the answer, but I feel like there's more in the middle than there is on the extreme ends. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I mean, like, obviously the humor I use with my friends that I've built over years and years and years, and the trust that I built with my friends. Of course, the humor I use there is going to be different than like what I use at work or what I use at the with the cashier at the register. We all adjust our social norms to the situation. It's a normal survival instinct that we've all had. We all want to be accepted into the social, norms, basically. So your fear of, like, when you're with the woman, you're the volunteer you're talking about, is your fear that you're just not being authentic, or that you're going to say something offensive?
She's an example of one of the women I have, like one of the few women I have actual like deep conversations with, where even if it's a stranger woman, it's just how I want to be able to present myself around women, where I don't feel like I'm putting a fake persona out there, where I want to be authentic, but I also want to be honest and genuine, right? I don't want to be offensive, but I also want to be able to express who I am. You see
Okay,
what I mean?
perfect.
So I
Yep.
can use the most like, I don't want to say cautious, but the right words, but also the most meaningful words of
Absolutely.
me.
Okay. Now I got a little bit of a clearer picture. Okay. So what I call that is being assertive. And the way I define being assertive is that you go for what you want, but you do it with respect, but without apology. So there's a way to tell someone the truth of what you're feeling, but there's a way to do it with respect. And so to me, it's like finding that balance of how you can say, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to take up the space that I want to take up. And I'm going to say what I believe. I'm not trying to offend you or be mean, but this is how I feel. I'm going to say it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Mm-hmm.
way to be, and that's something I highlight in my book, because my book is all about confidence and it is about being authentic. But in order to be authentic and also be accepted within society, you have to make sure that you're doing everything you say with respect. I'm a very direct person. I'm somebody who tells it like it is, but there's also a way to do it where you don't have to, like, cuss at them, call them a name, do anything like that. You can be very direct with people without in any way trying to hurt their feelings or be a dick. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
I completely understand that because 2 points before I end off. S- the point before I end off with is not the point, but the second last point before I end off with is, um, you know, it's about being that person I want to be, right? I'm a person with high amounts of anxiety. I don't know what caused it. Maybe it's because of COVID-19 during the half point end of the 11th grade to where I am now at 22. It's just, or even before that,
That's
it's just
hard, my
that I
friend.
feel
I'm
like
so
I
sorry,
have,
dude. I'm sorry
yeah,
that
that's
you went
fine.
through
It's
that,
fine. It's
dude.
fine. Yeah, yeah, but it's just feel like that I don't know how to have conversations without the sheer anticipation. Because I know that I've had high amounts of anxiety as a child, but even then, I just don't feel like I can have a conversation with a man or a woman without the fear of confrontation, right? Because I feel like once that confrontation arises, I might get screamed at by a woman, or at a, like, potentially with a man, I might have to fight him because they might be offended and stuff like that. And so I have very opinionated things that I feel like I am not entitled to say, but like I feel like if I'm asked about it, which has come up by multiple parties, I should be able to honestly say what I think with the, you know, being respectful in a way that, doesn't intend insult,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and that is something I advocate for. If somebody asks me my honest opinion, the way I normally approach something like that is, I normally say this is just how I feel, and it's I feel statements are something that a lot of people can use to not make it charged or not make it about the other person. You're making it completely about yourself, and you're like, my honest opinion is, somebody says, "Hey, do you like this artist?" And I'd be like, "No, it's not for me." I just say it. I don't try to placate. I don't try to but I say it's not for me. I won't make a judgment of their taste. I won't make a judgment of them. I won't make them feel less than because of their judgments, but I'm letting them know the honest truth about myself. And it sounds like, obviously, the reason I even started this channel, man, is because I know guys like you went through COVID when they were young, and they missed out on, I think, some of the opportunities that a lot of us had when we were younger. So for me, it's like it breaks my heart, because we haven't gotten back to where we were before COVID in terms of being social. We've gotten further away from it. So you're playing at a disadvantage in a lot of ways, but I want to help you catch up in some regards. Dude, send me a DM. I'm gonna give you a copy of my book. I'm just gonna give it to you because I wrote it for guys like you, that it's like, I want to help you guys build up the confidence where you're not worried about outcomes. Because when you're worried about outcomes, that's when you get nervous about what you're gonna say. That's when you start to overthink what you're gonna say. And when you're not worried about the outcome, because your intention is, again, with respect and your own opinion, then you move in the world in a more natural way that actually people gravitate to you more. There's a book I also recommend in my book called Models by Mark Manson. And his whole philosophy is around being polarizing, that there is nothing wrong with being polarizing, kind of like even what you're hinting at right there. Like, you're basically saying, if somebody says, you don't want to say the wrong thing or offend them, it's like, sometimes it's okay to say the thing that is contrary to what the person is saying, again, with respect. But it's okay to be like, somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, have you seen Euphoria?" And you're like, "I hate that show." You're like, "What?" And they often, it can be an engaging conversation instead of it being like you're placating them. And often that genuine energy that you're giving off when you're interacting with people, to me, it's what I think has made me, quote unquote, attractive to a lot of people throughout my life. It's because I'm just authentically me, and I'm not afraid to be authentically me. But I'm also kind. I'm also someone who shows a lot of respect. I'm someone who tries to make people feel good when I genuinely want to make people feel good. I'm somebody who gives compliments freely if I truly believe it. Like, if somebody says, "Oh, check out this song I made," I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna add this to my gym playlist. This is fire." I will give that person their flowers. I'm genuinely feeling it. If I don't feel it, I'll definitely be like, "It's not for me, dude, but keep at it," or whatever. But you can be authentic, but it's also good to give people their flowers in a really enthusiastic way. If somebody says something funny, if somebody does something, it's okay to give them the flower, because then not only will you be authentic, but they're endeared to you in a lot of ways as well. So yeah, man, send me a DM. I can at least try to give you my book, to give you it's only 60 pages, but it's a handbook that I wrote for guys like you to try to get, confidence, to be authentic, etc. So that's what I'm hoping for.
What's the best? Let's say once I get that ideal job or career, and then work out and get that ideal body, and I'm in the best mental health I have, and I have no negative stigma towards the opposite sex or even any demographics of people, and I'm just in the best place I can be in life. What would you say would be the best? When I say approach, I mean approach / thing to say to a woman, not a pickup line, but you know what I mean, to show that I'm authentically interested in her. It's not just about the way she looks, but I really want to get to know the person, whether it's through friendship or just an honest experience.
Great.
What would I have to say?
Great question. So you said something that's very important. In the book, I don't try to get men to talk to women until they develop each stage of confidence and self-respect that I outline in the book. Now, one of the things I do recommend men do is, you don't have to go up to women and have any sort of romantic conversation. Just start a conversation like you would a friend, like you would a stranger, like anybody who's there. Start a conversation in a natural way. If I were to, sometimes I'm at where was I the other day? I can't remember where I was, but I might have been picking up food or something, and then like someone else was picking up food, and then like we had just a little exchange. And this was a guy, I'm pretty sure, but we had just a little exchange of what we were experiencing in the restaurant. It had nothing to do with like any sort of romance or anything, but you can engage with people in an authentic way based on where you are, just like you would anybody else. And that's the key to what I'm saying is to if you go up to a woman and you're worried about the outcome, you're worried that you're not going to get her phone number, or you're worried that she's not going to like you, that energy comes across. But if you go up with no fear, with respect, just talking to them like a normal person, often I find people will engage with you. I find most people are willing to talk to you. It's the same way I approach people on the street for interviews. You know, a lot of people think I have like a big camera set up. It's normally my mother-in-law behind me somewhere with the camera. And until I get the okay for the woman to say yes to the interview, most of the time they engage with me. I rarely get women who like ignore me completely or just brush me off. It happens, but for the most part, most people are like, when I'm like, excuse me, and like they look up to you and they're waiting to hear what you have to say. And often they're willing to be some sort of they're willing to be receptive, even though if I'm not approaching them in a romantic way, they often want to hear me out. And I think doing these street interviews, I used to approach women all the time. It was something I've been girl crazy my whole life, but I think I'm less scared now, even though I don't approach women. I'm less scared now because of how many reps I've had interviewing women on the street that I'm like, God, what was I ever scared of? Like walking up to women and talking to them is really not that scary, especially if you're not afraid of the outcome. Because these women could tell me no to the interview, no sweat off my back, have a good day, you know? So I that's what I try to teach men is like you can talk to women just like you would talk to anybody else. Don't worry about the outcome, and that energy is attractive.
As a person who grew up with a lack of confidence, and I wouldn't say socially stunted. I'm introspective, but not able to express his thoughts eloquently. I captured a lot of fiction slash media that represented the ideal man. I would want to be obviously like Ned Stark, Thorfinn from Vinland Saga, stuff like that. Just like that hyper masculine, but also that very gentle and kind person. Because where I'm at right now is that I have I can admit these very negative thoughts in my head. Not that I choose to have it, but it's because of the media I'm consuming online, and it might be that moment in time where I was absorbing the red pill, but I genuinely want to be removed from that. Where not just with women, because this entire point with my discussion with you isn't just necessarily about women. That's a part of it,
Sure.
but I just want to be able to be a gentler, kinder person. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to remove all that. What do you call it? That grief and any negative emotion I might have towards a human being, and just not look at that, right? Because in the end of the day, it's a human being that matters above all else. And I appreciate you having a conversation with me, and I'm really taking it to heart, because sometimes I might like think I genuinely do want to do, the best I can, right? I want to cultivate a group of men in my life, and even in my city and community, and being able to, spread positivity and not this anti-woman, anti-feminist rhetoric, right? Obviously, I want to be able to engage with good faith women, not the ones that generalize all men, but also not the men that also want to, do the worst to women, right? And just hearing you and being able to have this conversation with me, I think has been a pivotal moment in my life. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
You sort of remind me, like obviously you don't have the psychology degree, but you sort of remind me of Dr. Max Butterfield. I don't know if you know who that is.
Sounds familiar.
Is that psychology who does like statistical analyses on like relationships about like certain topics and stuff like
Is
that?
he blonde?
Like the guy, yes, with the eyes, the weird
Yeah,
eyes,
I think I know what you're
and
talking about.
yeah, he's very kind, and appreciate you, talking to me, you and not so erudite and stuff like that. That genuinely want to help young men. You're a great person, and I'll continue consuming your media. Hope to engage with you if I ever have a following, for sure.
I appreciate that, man. That's very kind of you to say. And you have the same heart and intention that I did. when I decided to kind of be the kind of man I wanted to be. And I think it's very important that you set your own standard for what masculinity is. You decide, you get to decide at every decision you make what kind of person you want to be. There was a time in my life when I would go out somewhere, and if a stranger wanted to even make small talk with me, I would often be like, why is this person talking to me? Like, we're not going to be friends. We're not going to like engage in a real meaningful way. Why are you doing this? And I don't know. I was very cynical at one point in life. I've definitely improved a lot of my own mental health and my own view of other people, and also how I view myself. And now I just engage with people when they want to have small talk with me, and I'll just try to make their day. Not because it means anything necessarily too much to me, but it's like, this is the choice I get to make. I get to make the choice to try to be nice to this person for no reason at all, with no reciprocation, with nothing I'm going to get back. But it's like, not everyone makes that choice, and I get to be the person that makes that choice. And I think that's every decision you make, you can decide, am I going to be proud of the person I'm going to be if I make this choice? And if you approach your life with that way, and you build the framework that you want to mold your life around, then every decision you make, and obviously we all have slip ups, like I treat my wife, I love my wife, but sometimes I have slip ups, sometimes I'll get agitated with her, and it's like, I don't want to be that person. So I have to constantly address that myself. Like there's things that I'm constantly like, this is not the guy I want to be, fix it, and I think if you have that intention with yourself, you will be that person you set out to be.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, man. 22 years old, to have that kind of heart, like, I love it, dude. And to have the wherewithal to understand that, like, you don't want to feel this way, that maybe it's the stuff you've been seeing online, which, again, one of the reasons I created this channel is because I know if I was in your shoes, I would have absolutely been consuming red pill content. There's no way I wouldn't have. I would have been at home during COVID watching YouTube, and eventually that shit would have come up. Like, there's no way around it. So I appreciate that you had the intention to be a good person, and you're the exact kind of person I want to help, man. So seriously, send me a DM. I'll send you a PDF.
All right. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, thank you.
All right, bye.
All right. Oh, my heart. What's up, Ash?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, man. How you doing?
Good. I don't really have any questions. Just kind of want to respond to I don't know how to say his name, Diane or something, or I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, I mean, like I said, you used to be married. I used to be married. I mentioned to you one of my cousins was married. Me and my cousin, one of us did love marriage, other did, like arranged kind of marriage. So, and it both didn't work out. Obviously, mine was a little bit shorter.
Wait,
My
how long was
cousin's
yours?
was long. Mine was about a year, 2 year and a half.
Okay, so okay. I thought you meant shorter than mine. I was like, no, it's about mine. That was about mine too. But your cousin's was
No. Yeah, because his was 8 years.
Okay.
And look, they didn't have kids yet, but they were together for 8. They were married for 8 years, so, and it didn't work out. So, like I said, we both did love marriage and arrange. I know there's two different types, but it both didn't work out. Sometimes it can work out. I mean, it's just how it is. We both went through court. We both divorced. We both, in our scenario, didn't pay nothing, to our ex-wife. We both got the money, and luckily it worked out that way. I mean, the main thing is you have to fight for. You have to get a good lawyer, obviously, but you got to fight for it in court. And obviously, the one regarding arranged marriage was different because that was a little bit more complicated because the person was in a different country. They filed for fraud because they didn't marry just to come here, so they had to go through immigration, do a court case virtually. It was like and it's just like if it was a lengthy process, but like I said, it eventually worked out for both of us, and outcome was positive. Are there listen? I mean, are there scenarios where it doesn't it happens the other way, like where we have to give money, or we don't gain as much as we thought? Absolutely, it happens. Depends on how the court case goes, how you fight. Um, another thing, I think a comment that someone made was like, um, like let's say if there's a court case and a woman wins, right? They get the kids, right? Obviously, it can be a burden for a guy not to see their kids every day, but the wife would have to pay child support. They have to pay more money. It's a much more hassle. So, in generally, divorce does benefit men. Obviously, depends on the case. Like, sometimes it does benefit the woman, but like I said, it mostly benefits men a lot more in the court process. When you end the marriage. And listen, man, I mean, my cousin remarried. He has kids now. He's in a good relationship. Obviously, me, I'm still looking. I'm in my 30s, so mid 30s, I'm still looking. And like I said, I went to a different events. We spoke about it. Hasn't worked out, but I just got to keep trying. I try to think positive, even if I get rejected. I try to think positive. I make so that's one thing. Like a lot of guys might think that, hey, um, I got rejected by this woman because of my looks, or because of my weight, or because maybe they just think it has to be the shallow reason, but it could be other things. We don't know that.
Exactly.
Maybe the way we present ourselves, the way we have conversation. Um, if we have a good conversation, but we look like we're not interested in the person, why would they be interested in us? So there's a lot of different factors. You got to look at everything, not just one or two things. Unless she says it herself. Listen, I reject you because of this. Then yeah, I mean, you take the good, you figure out what mistake you made, and kind of improve it, and go from there. You got to keep trying. There's a fear of getting rejected, but you got to keep trying. There's a fear of getting married, but you got to keep trying, even if you have kids or not. I mean, listen, it's not easy, but you just gotta keep trying. And like I said, you were divorced and you got married. You're in a good relationship with your wife, and you are in a better place now. And I'm sure there's other people that's been in similar situations. There's always that fear. I mean, like I said, like you mentioned, other thing you mentioned was sort of roller coaster. You had the fear, you didn't like it. But I think maybe I don't know if it was your wife that influenced you to try again, or maybe someone else, but you try again and you overcome the fear. Uh, so I don't like roller coaster either. But hey, you were in a similar situation. You overcome it. I do have more to say, but did you want to add something?
Well, I just, you represent the attitude that I hope other people can adopt. That it's like you you don't take it personally. You don't you realize you can only control your reaction to things, and you operate in that way. And that is such an invaluable lesson that I just hope everyone can take. That it's like you can let rejection just roll off your back. It doesn't have to mean anything about you. In fact, I found a sense of pride in just the approach to me, or the flirtation or whatever, to me was always like the more thrilling part, and the outcome was whatever. But to me it was like I like the I was in it for the love of the game, basically. And I think if you can approach life like that, you're in it for the love of the game, not because you're trying to get something specific. You can just have a better outlook on life. But yeah, what else were you gonna say?
No, I was just giving like a couple more examples. Obviously, I mentioned to you about there's a fear of rejection when you're dating. Maybe even if you get asked, someone out, you go on a date, it doesn't go well. Then you move on. You just gotta try again. I mentioned the marriage. Your situation with your marriage, the roller coaster. Same thing with the investment. Like if you invest in something, you're gonna lose money. You're gonna get money. I mean, there's that risk. Same thing with job. You could have. Um, a good interview, you don't get the job, or maybe you get the job and then it doesn't work out and you get fired. I mean, then you keep trying. Um, you know, like I said, same thing with speaking. People have big fear that people have is public speaking. They and I've seen people that when they go up, they're so nervous, and it just looks so bad. Like you feel bad for them, and they stutter. They the way they talk is not how they normally talk. It's a big fear. I mean, that's why taking like Toastmaster classes or just practicing, being a having a doing a presentation, having a speech. I get nervous too, but then when I start speaking, then like I get more comfortable. But I do get nervous in the beginning, so it's just a matter. You just got to keep trying and all these different things. And another thing is, you get sick. If you get sick and things doesn't work out, like I experienced my I had a family member who had cancer and then they end up passing away. If it doesn't get worse, people when people get have something like this, when they get sick or something, they have something. It's like not a minor thing. They have the fear. Maybe they could lose their life, or maybe things won't get better. I mean, listen, life is life. Whatever's we're born to die one day. That's why I live life to the fullest. You never know what's going to happen or when your time will come. And just like I said, whatever happens, happens. Like I said, I had a family member that had cancer, and obviously they want to live and get better. But then there was a certain point of that time where they're like, hey, I'm not getting any better. I accept my outcome, and you just do the best you can until whenever whatever the end results is. So I just gave some different examples. Like I said, I think if you have that fear, and listen, we all get nervous. We all get a little scared. I mean, but you have to be able to overcome it. If it works, great. If not, you learn from it and keep trying. Eventually, it's going to work out.
Yeah. No, I personally think getting over fears is one of the things that makes you like yourself more than just about anything. Because again, if you like yourself because of external validation that people give you, then if that goes away, you lose that appreciation of yourself. But the more pride you feel getting over fears, doing things that scare you, doing things that like you didn't think you could do, challenging yourself, um, giving yourself goals that you want to hit and hitting those goals, those are the things that are going to make you like yourself and appreciate yourself more than just about anything else you can do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like I said, this is life. Everything's at risk. Just got to keep trying, enjoy life, and just do what you can. Because if you live in the fear, then you may never accomplish what you want. I mean, like I said, we all go through different things. You're never alone. So just remember that. And yeah, I mean, that's all I came up here to say. Just kind of want to respond to his comment.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate the input, dude. And Ash is an example for a lot of men. Just face your fears. Do not let rejection be the thing that defines you. So, thank you for sharing that lesson, Ash.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Catch you next time, man.
Sounds good.
Hey, what's up, Wes?
Hello.
You back home?
Yep, I just ended my train maxing streak.
When did you get back again?
April 12th.
Okay, so it's been a few days. Have you already gone back to volunteer?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I have some questions I want to ask you.
Yeah, sure.
The first question, I might have asked the question before, but do you think it's possible to have a relationship while having a job that requires you to travel a lot?
Absolutely. I can give you the best example I have. My mother-in-law lived on the East Coast for a lot of her career, while my wife's father lived over here on the West Coast, and they saw each other frequently. But yeah, no, it can absolutely happen.
Yeah, so the job that I might get in the future is an Amtrak conductor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that already, but so basically, because I talked to several crew members while I was on the train, I'm basically, if you're an assistant or a qualified conductor, you basically have to travel the whole train. So basically, if it's like, for example, if you're on the Coast Starlight service, then you have to start from Los Angeles all the way up to Seattle and back.
Yeah, I mean my that's probably a bit longer than what the example I'm about to give, but one of my neighbors is a pilot, you know, and he travels all the time. And he has to take early flights. You know, and he's gone for a few days, but he comes back. I don't know his exact schedule, but pilots do it. I'm sure there's a lot of. I think conductors. If I remember the stat I looked up for one of my videos, I think conductors typically are married. Like it's a field where people find partners for sure.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Um, I remember asking um I remember asking Brenda Lynn that same question, and pretty much she had the same answer as you.
Hmm. Do you talk to Brenna often?
On live, yes. I like she does lives like periodically. It's like I asked a question,
That's awesome.
and actually, Amtrak conductors get paid really well. If you're a fully qualified one, you get paid like 46.50 per hour.
Nice. I mean, you're the prime person that can get that job. No one's gonna be able to beat you in terms of like passion for trains.
Yeah. But anyway, the next question I have is, do you know why the reason why I struggle to talk to people?
Do I know the reason?
Oh, sorry, the wrong wording, but uh, it's how do I word this? It's mostly the reason why I don't have the initiative to go up and talk to people or random people.
Okay.
It's mostly, well, because of the autism, of course, but also it's because of my life experience, right? You know, the last time we talked, it was about, you know, how your trauma can affect how your life is.
Yeah, absolutely. Trauma is a core building block of how your life turns out often.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately, people, when I try to talk to people, it's like unfortunately they're not interested or they push me away. And pretty much it trained my brains like, okay, just leave people alone because you're gonna expect that response.
Which response?
Well, basically it's either I'm not interested, I don't, or some even more like, hey, just go away, right? Because I experienced that at school when I was in the public school system. I dealt with that. I try to make friends, I try to talk to people, but sometimes it doesn't go the way I want. It doesn't go my way. So,
And so
um,
that trauma affects how you want to approach people in the future.
yeah, and I'm like the same way. It's like I don't want to bother people, and I don't want people to bother me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things that I would say. I there's a number of things I would say. One, you know how I feel about mental health and how I feel about you getting the appropriate care, but mental health
Yeah,
care is often a way that we deal with our traumas. I've had traumas that I didn't realize I had that came out through therapy that now I'm aware of how that has affected my life and I'm aware of like what can trigger that feeling in me and now I'm able to navigate the world a lot easier because I'm aware of it and I have the tools to fight it basically. Because the trauma might not ever go away, but you can get the proper training to fight it. Just like you would learn how to, navigate a train, there's going to be issues that you have to navigate, but you're able to do it because you've had the training and you've done the work. Um,
and yeah,
oh, go ahead.
I remember when I was on the train, I had a very lovely conversation with assistant conductor, and I initiated the conversation myself, and I felt really proud to do it. I was basically asking her questions. It's like, what's it like to be an Amtrak conductor? What's the training? You know, stuff like that. It was interesting, and I normally don't do that. I rarely go up to people or start conversations. I rarely do that.
Um, yeah, I think the other side of what I was trying to say about the mental health too is you also have, you know, you're on the spectrum, which is also another thing that makes social interactions tougher. So
Oh yeah.
I this is where I highly recommend. I mean, I've been looking into books because you and so many of the guys I coach are on the spectrum, and I feel like I need to get better at understanding it. Simply because of the volume of men I talk to that that deal with it. But I'm learning more about like books, and I had recommended one earlier. I don't know if you took a look at it. Um, that came up in one of my damn, I gotta write it down because now I gotta find it again. Um, okay, there it is. Let me scroll to where I have that. The Unwritten Rules of Social Relationships. Have you heard of that book?
No.
Um, I just put it in the chat, but that to me seems to be one that people recommend a lot for people because it was written by somebody on the spectrum who wrote it to help decode social interactions for people on the spectrum.
Maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, I think, you know, you have challenges. You have things like the trauma, and you have, you know, the social interactions that are hurdles. But these are things that can be overcome. You can figure out a way to navigate these interactions just as you are. And, you know, I really think y these things don't have to define you by any measure, and they don't have to be the, you know, any sort of limiter for you. There are ways to navigate just about every situation. So I think for you, I hope that you can take the time to study, you know, any of the mental health books you can get your hands on that have to do with your trauma, and also any social interaction books you can get your hand on. Study it as hard as you would studying for the train exam. Like that's how I want the guys that I coach to approach the effort they put in trying to make the life that they want. The only way you're going to make the life you want is if you really put in the effort. And that includes, again, the effort you put in for your trains, the effort you put into learning about these engines and all of that. Put the same effort into you, put that same investment into who you are and the kind of person you want to be.
Absolutely, I agree. And here's the thing about when I talk to people about, it's not like I can't talk to people. It's like I don't have any social skills at all. It's more just, I can go up and talk to people. It's just like, it's the energy or the confidence or the bravery to do it.
Exactly. Absolutely. And that's something that even I've had to overcome. You know, it's scary for anybody, dude. It's definitely something. And my book is about confidence. You know, again, I wrote it kind of for neurotypical. There's probably, and again, maybe I'll do some research again, but I don't think there is an issue on earth that some expert has not written some book about. And actually, I learned that from Will Smith, funny enough. But he said basically any problem you've ever faced, people have faced before you. And you're able to take the wisdom that they have after overcoming it and apply it to your life. And I'm a big believer in that. I mean, I read ancient Stoics who talk about things that they were dealing with in their time that we still deal with today. So, you know, they say there's no new problem under the sun. I think there's some nuance to that. I mean, obviously, Marcus Aurelius never had to deal with AI, but you know, I think there is some truth to human problems and endeavors. There is somebody who has written a way to help you.
Yeah, I agree with your statement.
And you're Wes. You're just somebody I wholeheartedly believe in, man. I think you're funny. You made me laugh legitimately, and I'm not somebody who chuckles like unless I think something's funny. So and you have an urge and desire, and that's where it starts. If you don't have that urge and desire, you're not going to get anything done. But if you have the urge, and you have the fire in you, and you put your mind to it, and you put in the work, you can get the life you want.
Absolutely. In fact, um, what I'm actually next year in April, like I mentioned, I think I told you about this before, but I'm hoping to go to Willits, California, to go to this Roots of Motive Power place.
I think you mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah, they have like tons of cool equipment there. They'll teach you how to operate. They got like steam locomotives, steam tractors, steam boilers, diesel tractors, Caterpillars, John Deere's. They got everything.
And when you in April? Wait, it's April
April,
right now.
well, no, April of next year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. I mean, that sounds great. That sounds right up your alley. I think you're gonna have a blast there.
And also, I'm hoping that maybe sometime in the future, another goal I want to do, I want to become a volunteer firefighter.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, most of the stuff in the. I mean, I you could what you said, I could apply that to anything I want to be.
Yep.
It doesn't just have to be trains. It could be like anything I want to do.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, like in the age of AI, I haven't announced it yet here, but like I developed something recently that I don't have any coding background, but I have something that I want to introduce at some point. I'm starting like a very small pilot here, but I've learned how to animate. I've learned how to edit videos. All the videos I do here, I didn't know how to edit videos until I started making content. But how did I learn it? I went to AI and I put it in the time and learned it. I learned how to code an app basically. I learned how to like build the database and like it's a functioning app and I have users. It's crazy. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. And the reason I'm so passionate about telling people to like persevere and push through the things that you don't know how to do is because I've learned new skills that I've never had. And in the age of AI, it makes it so much easier. It's just, if I would have had this AI when I was a teenager, I feel like I could have gone to the moon, like, and so I feel like today it's easier than ever to open up Claude or Gemini. I don't really use ChatGPT anymore, but Claude has been my go-to. Claude has helped me develop an app. It's helped me come up with the data that I need to make my videos. I mean, there's nothing I don't. The resources are there now, and if you have the urge to learn something, you can do it now, like faster than ever before. Again, I learned how to animate. I made a pilot with my wife last year, all through animation, all through learning how to do it in AI. And of course, I had to do the work. I had to do the animation in the animation software and do all that stuff, and make it good. And obviously, my taste matters and pick the right music and things like that. But I did it, and I'm very proud of it. So I'm a big believer in like you are limited by your beliefs on what you can accomplish. And I believe if I want to learn something, I have, especially now, I can learn it.
Yeah, and you know, but also
I love that. And now you're probably still afraid of heights, but you at least know you can overcome it. And that's something that I've learned in my own life. I I started off with more confidence in life than I think a lot of people should. I I've been a headstrong guy my whole life. If somebody told me I can't do something, I'm like, watch me do it. And I've been I'm defiant. I think that's a trait of mine, and that I've used throughout my life. Obviously, I had moments of complete unconfidence in my life too. You know, everyone has ups and downs, but that urge to say, watch me do this thing, watch me, I'm gonna do it. Like, if you have that fire, I'm telling you, it can build your confidence, because the more you see yourself do the things you set out to do, the more you start to believe in yourself. And that's where confidence comes from. Hmm. That's cool. That's cool. That's exactly right, man. You nailed it. That's exactly it. That's a great, and Cole loves it too. That's a great analogy. You can stoke your own fire. You can absolutely add the coals to power yourself. Because it's not, it can't come from anywhere else. It can't. It has to come from within. And it's the same way that, like, I said this year, like, I noticed I put on more weight earlier this year than I wanted to, and I have been on a mission to, like, be on my fitness goals, and, like, nope, I'm gonna do this. And I've been trying to bike every single day that it's at least decent weather. I've been going to the gym. I've been doing. I have so many back problems too. I've had bad posture my whole life, in terms of, like, I've been walking wrong, which I just learned, and now I have to do all these stretches to try to fix it. And it takes dedication. If I slack off on doing it, if I don't work on my posture when I'm walking every day, I'm going to continue to have this pain. So it takes discipline, it takes effort, and it takes, no one's going to motivate. It's like, I want to stop feeling this way. What do I have to do? I have to do this, this, and this. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. And you can make that decision every single time. You're the right kind of guy, Wes. I promise, man. You take that locomotive analogy you gave. I'm gonna use that. Take that analogy you just gave, and, like, really propel your life, man. Because you have that. You have the fire, and you know how to apply it to the right thing. My ADHD is something like that. Like, I used to, if I want to really, like, dive into something, I go head first and I just get into it. But I want to apply that fire to every aspect of my life, and it's something I've been working on and doing. But you can determine which way you want to drive that locomotive. Nice, nice. I love that. I love that. See, you take the roofing example. Excuse me. That example, even if you need to, like, the cognitive behavioral therapy, sometimes it really is like writing things down and, like, referencing it later, because often life can make us, the ups and downs of life can make us forget, like, some of the good stuff. And so, something my wife has recommended for me, because she knows, like, I can, like, have a good day, but then one thing can maybe make me feel down, and she's like, you should make a list of all the good things that happened to you that day, because then you can look back at it and say, oh, maybe it wasn't so bad. But I think it's the same thing that you can do with like your accomplishments, the things that the fears you've gotten over, the things that you told yourself, I'm going to do this, and you do it. And like have a running list because you have a few examples. And I think that can also help with your fire to be like, look at all the things I've done. And like feeling that sense of pride is all what I try to teach, is having that pride and that self-respect. It's magnetic. It's really, I think the core of who I am is just I like what I've done with myself and I treat people well, and that's it. And most of the time that's gotten me through life. Hey man, you too. I'm glad you're back, dude. And yeah, I'm thanks for the question, man. You motivated me, in fact. Thanks, Wes. Yeah, it's been a bit of a quiet night. Let me see if there's anything to catch up on. Um, who's chopped? Who's chopped or not? I've seen some back and forths. Oh, okay, I get it. We're talking about Myron still. Oh boy. If all goes to plan, I should be confronting him next month. We'll see. He had to cancel his last appearance, so I didn't get to confront him the way I wanted to. Oh, Nicole, the fact that you don't know who he is really a great thing. It's really fantastic. Do not go down the rabbit hole of understanding who Myron Gaines is. He's probably one of the most influential Red Pill guys right now. I'd say he's more influential than Andrew Tate right now. He's probably the most influential Red Pill guy. And he's probably one of the worst people on earth. If I had to, I'm not even mincing my words. And I'll tell him that. I'll tell him that to his face. Like, I have no problem telling him he's a horrible person. And so I'm hoping next month. So assholes can be rich too. Who cares? I'm rich. What does that have to do with anything? Like, who cares? So what? It's just bizarre. From Instagram, Myron Gage is dangerous, absolutely. And most of the people who listen to him end up being miserable. Does Myron seem happy to you? That guy's yelling all the time. Does he seem happy? He's constantly yelling. He stays in his room and does nothing. He stays in his room and does absolutely nothing. He says he goes from the studio to home and that's it. If that's a life that you want, great. But it sounds like a pretty lonely, miserable life. I'm not going on Fresh and Fit. I wish I could. I wish. He ignores me. He even on X recently, I called him out for something and he said I'm too small and all that other shit. The way I'm going to confront him is he's probably going to be going to University of California in Riverside. And he does his open mic debates, and I'm going to confront him there, where he has no choice but to face me. Brian from Earth, what's crazy about what you just said, he said he was at Amfest and called the pregnant woman names. I was standing right next to him when it happened. I confronted him there at Amfest. I told him, hey man, you make content about me. Why don't you debate me? And he said I'm too small. There at Amfest, right outside where he called that lady those names, I was there on the Unfuck America tour with that lady. So I was right there when it happened. So I've confronted Myron to his face. So he knows who I am. Yeah, I'm at least going to get a viral clip out of it. That's what I'll tell you right now. Fire I am on the West Coast. That's where he's going to UC Riverside. That's where I'm going to be. I'm going to go, exactly, Brian. He was going to go there last week and I was ready to go, but then he canceled because of something. But supposedly it's going to be May 5th now. So May 5th, I'm going to drive 40 minutes east and I'm going to confront him. I am on the West Coast. I'm in Orange County, fire. But yeah, I would pay to debate Myron. That's how much I want to confront him. Nice, dude. Got a beautiful girlfriend. Good for you. I want to confront him. He needs someone like me to look him in his face and tell him everything that's wrong with him. And I'm just, again, the same way I confronted Andrew Wilson, I just feel like there's not a lot of people who will stand toe to toe with these guys. in a way that, you know, they have to listen and have to deal with it. And I want to be that guy. Yeah, Andrew confronted him, quote unquote, but he still, again, he like defended his ideology when I debated him. So Andrew will debate and defend his friends even if he disagrees with them. And he confronted him by saying, you tell men to be promiscuous and that's wrong. And it's like, whatever. Yep, that's the guy, Nicole. Yeah, that's the one. I want to join the Unfuck America tour. You should apply, Brian. I don't know if you make content, but all you have to do is apply. I applied. They let me through, but I have some following. I don't know if that matters, but you should do it. Apply, because at the very end of the day, you can at least help, even if you don't make content. You know, you can set up the tables, you can set up the mics, you can do all kinds of things that are helpful. I did some content when I was there, but I also carried water, you know, at one point, just to help. I was there to help. It was a good time. I met Not So Erudite on that tour. That's how I got her on the podcast. She's good people. There was a lot of good people there. I met Destiny. He's cool too. I met Adam Mockler. That was dope. Yeah. No, Myron and he doesn't really debate people. That's the thing. He like hides in his little studio and just like he just hides. He just hides the whole time. He's so corny. But all right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up, everybody. Unless anyone has any last minute questions, I'm gonna call it. Well, this was fun, everybody. Fire, it was good chatting with you, and now, of course, all the regulars. Dion, I hope if you're still there, homie, I hope you get that fear checked out. Curry, my boy, send me a DM. Send me a DM with your email. That will save a little time if you put your email in there. I can at least share the PDF with you. Yeah, no, thank you, everybody. 100 minutes, all right. Yep, I'll be here next week, same time. Until then, everybody, have a good night. Oh, thanks, Nicole. I appreciate your feedback every time you're here. I'll see you next week.